Duolingo fucked up, and today we're going to talk about it. For those of you that are used to tuning in to the Leading Change podcast, you are probably familiar with the fact that all of my episodes are typically interviews. But we're going to be changing things up a little bit based off of some feedback that I've gotten from my audience that they would like a little bit more focus on current events and where the theory of change management and digital transformation really comes together with current events. So today is going to be the first time that we dive into a Ema solo episode. So buckle up, everybody. For those of you that don't know Duolingo, they are an application that focuses on helping people learn foreign languages. They've done a fabulous job of gamifying the process of learning a new language. And in the last couple of years, they've gained massive popularity on TikTok through the use of their owl, Duo. Who's their mascot that typically gets involved in viral TikTok trends and has even created a number of movements on their own with their social media presence. But they've been in the news lately, and it's not for going viral on TikTok for their typical reasons.
What did they do now?
Recently, an internal memo that was sent out to their team announcing that the company was going to become AI first was leaked out to the public. And I've got that email today, and we're going to spend some time taking a peek at what was said in that email, talking about exactly where they went wrong in this visioning process, and then applying my 4P framework to this vision process to talk about what they should have done. So to get us started, I think it's important to recognize what the backlash and the public has been saying in response to this leaked email.
Duolingo made an announcement last night that caused thousands of people to cancel their subscriptions this morning.
I have never deleted an app so fast.
Oh my God, everyone hates us for firing all our employees and switching them out for AI.
As you can see, the response has not been positive. People are really pushing back on this narrative of AI first, coming from CEOs, not just Duolingo's CEO, but other folks like Salesforce's CEO and statements that he's made about not hiring developers or engineers moving forward because of the use of AI. Shopify CEO had a similar leak happen and got a lot of pushback for their AI first mentality. And it's very clear that employees and consumers of all of these companies are pushing back on the idea of going AI first.
What is wrong with these robots?
And I can't say that I'm surprised or I disagree. For anybody that follows me and my content online, you'll know that my focus is people centricity. I want people to be the center of the companies that I am buying from and working with or working for. People should be at the center of everything that we're doing in the midst of a digital transformation. Your customers and your employees and your partners, which we'll get to in a little bit more here, are all people. And taking an AI first mentality fundamentally separates your company and your vision from the people that are driving your company forward and ultimately the people that are using their hard-earned money to make your company a success. But I didn't want to just take the headlines that we are hearing like Duolingo is going AI first and ditching all contractors to replace them with technology at complete face value. So I went out and I looked for the statement that their CEO has made. And they publicly posted the leaked email on their LinkedIn account to show exactly what vision they had set for their team. And I think when they published this email, they thought that it was going to be a flex to show off that the statement didn't just say we're replacing contractors with AI, but that the statement had more meat to it. But what I want to do is go through that email and point out a couple of places that I think that there is real opportunity to improve their messaging.
It can only get better, I suppose.
And talk through how, if I was the leader in that seat, making that announcement and setting that vision, how I would have done it differently than what their CEO did. So getting started with the email, at the very beginning, it says, I've said this in Q&As and many meetings, but I want to make it official. Duolingo is going to be AI first. The first sentence in the email states that the company is going to put AI before anything else. That right there sets the precedent that if an employee only reads the first line of that email, they're going to see that technology outranks anything else in your organization. And they're going to check out and be disinterested and not want to continue reading because you just told them that technology is more important than they are. Now, if we skip down to the very bottom of the email, they do talk about their employees. One of the last paragraphs, the second to last paragraph, says Duolingo will remain a company that cares deeply about our employees. Caring deeply about your employees and putting them above technology are two separate ideas. And this email is completely centric around Duolingo and the value that AI is going to bring to the company. And it really lacks any sort of what's in it for me for the employees that are reading this message. Going further down into the email, beyond the initial statement that they are going AI first, they do talk about their mission and how innovation has been a part of the company since 2012. They make a comparison between AI and being AI first to their initial move going to mobile back in 2012. That's fair to be able to say that we innovated before. This is a part of our culture. That move helped us cement our success. In 2013, it allowed us to be the AI or iPhone's #1 application of the year. They're painting this trajectory of innovation as a part of their mission and their culture, which I don't think that there's anything wrong with. And you should be able to stress this and talk about that with your team. But in the context of how it's going to support them as an individual and what's in it for them if the company goes to be AI first. The email goes on to continue to talk about the mission to educate people and how using AI is going to allow them for the first time ever to teach as well as the best human tutors in the world. Great goal, but how does replacing people and contractors with AI help you in the goal to compete with the best human educators? Wouldn't you be working to find the best human educators and scale their impact with the technology? That again puts them in the position where humans are competing with the technology rather than partnering to create a better outcome for their learners. Then the part that seems to have captured the headlines is where they talk about, we'll be rolling out new constructive constraints to help guide this shift. We'll gradually stop using contractors to do the work that AI can handle. AI use will be a part of what we look for in hiring. AI use will be a part of what we evaluate in performance reviews. Headcount will only be given if a team cannot automate more of their work. Most functions will have specific initiatives to functionally change how they work. Each and every one of those bullet points tells the employee how the technology will be used against them. It tells them how the technology will be used to replace contractors. It tells them that their use of technology is going to be the most important value that they bring to the organization. It paints the picture of exactly what the technology is going to do for the organization and the organization alone. As I mentioned earlier, they do go on to talk about the fact that Duolingo will remain a company that cares deeply about its employees. And they do say that moving forward, they're going to implement training and mentorship and support for people to be able to adapt to this change. But it feels like an afterthought in the way that they have presented this information to their employees.
This is backwards.
And the very last paragraph of the email says, change can be scary, but I'm confident that this will be a great step for Duolingo. That sentence says to your employees, you should fear this change. It's not good for you, but it's good for the company. And that is inherently what is wrong with this message. Now, what I want to do is take a moment to talk through the 4P framework that I have for visioning. that's come and been crowdsourced by my community on TikTok based off of comments of what employees are looking for from their leadership tied to transformation and what they're seeking in terms of support and the information that they need to feel comfortable with a change. So when you're looking at creating a vision statement, rather than doing something that is company-centric, you want to use these 4 Ps to help gain adoption and understanding from your team. So the first P is purpose and the why behind the change. But most importantly, what's in it for your employees? That what's in it for me statement should shine through in the purpose of your vision. Then you need to focus in on how it's going to impact your employees. Again, really doubling down on that idea of what's in it for them. Then we need to look at what the process of the change is actually going to be. Not, here's the things that we're going to be doing to make you and the technology compete with one another, but here's the steps of how we're going to actually move through this change together. And the final P is participation, and really diving into how the leadership is going to collaborate with their team in order to make this vision come to fruition. So getting started at the very beginning of this, when we take a look at this idea of purpose and what's in it for me, this entire email was sent in the reverse of how it should have been presented. Instead of ending with this trailing thought of how they still care about their employees, they should have opened up the email talking about this innovative nature and how it's something that is true to the core of Duolingo. Every employee is driving towards helping their learners attach to new languages quicker than ever before. How this spirit of innovation has been something that's core from the very beginning. And the people that are on the team instill that spirit and that innovation. And so now, as a company, they're going to ask their employees to start digging into the new technology that's available, learning new things, developing skill sets that allow them to offset manual tasks, working alongside technology. That idea of ending with, oh, and we'll have some training and mentorship available for you, should have been the opening statement, letting employees know that they will be working collaboratively with them and their new gained knowledge from training and support that comes from the company to figure out exactly how and where they can leverage this technology to get the upper hand the exact same way that they did back in 2012 when they made the move to mobile. That message of what's in it for me tied to training and new skills and being able to offload manual tasks should come through and help people really start to paint a picture of the role that they're going to play in this new version of Duolingo. And notice, as I'm talking through this purpose and people part of the equation, I didn't mention the idea of being AI first, because a company doesn't need to be AI first in order to have the benefits of artificial intelligence come through for them. If you start with your people and you start with building digital literacy and educating them, the tools will come. Your people will find ways to use that technology to improve the processes that they're working in. You don't need to lead with the technology. It will follow because it's a tool that your people will use to drive towards your mission as an organization if you give them the right training and understanding of the technology. Then when we get to the process piece, there should have been a lot more information about exactly when training would be available, how they were going to make it available, what kind of budget is there for their team to be able to lean into emerging technologies, because also there's benefit to things beyond just AI. How they were going to support this idea of innovation shouldn't be painted again in this like us versus technology mindset where they start talking about replacing contractors or being evaluated on how much they're using this technology. The process of what this transition is going to look like should have been spelled out much more clearly as a part of this statement. And when it comes to the participation piece and really showing how the leadership was going to help make this transition a reality, they should have opened with this message that we're here to support you. We're ready to take questions that you've got. that we understand what this process is going to take as an organization, and here's how we're going to support you through that. Not, yeah, we know this is going to be scary, but it's the right choice for us. Because that message right there doesn't do anything to make your team want to adopt the change. It doesn't do anything to make them actually excited about the company becoming AI first. It puts these thoughts of doubt and questions of, am I going to be replaced by this? If they're replacing contractors, am I next? It puts questions and fear and creates this shadowy enemy of AI in the background, as opposed to positioning AI as exactly what it is, which is a tool for your people to use to solve bigger problems and accomplish bigger things. If you're interested in content like this tied to change management, digital transformation, and leadership in the digital world, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for a lot more to come. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Leading Change. If you like what you saw, be sure to come back on a weekly basis and subscribe for more expert interviews focused on digital transformation, change management, and emerging technologies.